And I just want to say thank you for coming. This girl, literally, I spoke to her one time. I saw her one time on the YouTube, one of the YouTube channels that we watch. She commented on something, and I was like, let me see what this girl is all about, because her channel, she's actually a life coach. And we literally spoke last week, and she's in Maryland, and here she is, drove today on a Saturday, literally a couple of hours away from the storm. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here, Erica. And as you all know, my channel is about inspiration. It's about strong men and women who had overcome whatever ordeal, whether it was physically, emotionally, or spiritually, and still found themselves and never forgot about the humanity portion of life, because it is actually important. So Erica, again, thank you for being here.
I am honored. Well, my name is Erica Bostwick. I am a certified life coach. I also just recently launched a nonprofit called Overcoming Abuse Through Healing, with the acronym O.A.T.H. I am an HR director by day, and I have an HR consulting firm that I have started as well. So I'm pretty busy,
yes.
But my real passion is people. And all of my journey has always led me to helping and healing people. So even in HR, I am the person that everybody's like, can I just talk to you for a little bit? Can I come in your office and talk to you about what's going on? And I recognized early on that was a gift, being able to help people, being able to empathize and talk to people in a way where I'm talking to them, not judging them.
Exactly.
And talking to the issues and the circumstances that they're dealing with, and letting them know, hey, you're not alone. My journey is a very long story.
We have
but one of the things that I'm most proud of is, despite having been in an abusive marriage, 2 abusive marriages, I got married very early in age at 18, the first time, and then divorced, and a year later married another guy, and I was with him for 10 years, the first guy for 7 years. So most of my adult life growing up, my younger years, where everybody else is off partying, doing all kinds of things, I was a wife and a mother. So there were a lot of things that I dealt with in those different areas of my life, and it took me to become a life coach to really realize that I was drawn to these types of people because of the things that I experienced and saw growing up. So I made a decision that at 18, when I got married, I really feel like I got married at 18 to get away from Baltimore. I was born and raised in Baltimore. Not that I didn't love my first husband, because I loved him very much, but I knew I needed to get away from that environment and experience something different. And he was in the military, and we were able to travel the world and kind of, well, not the world, but travel nationally and see different places and experience different things. But it took me to come out of bad marriages, abusive relationships, being just mistreated, abused, and hurt and rejected, to really come full circle. And now my goal and my purpose in life is to help other people heal through their issues. So that's where my nonprofit was birthed. It's literally called Overcoming Abuse Through Healing, O.A.T.H., which is the acronym O.A.T.H. And we are, shameless plug, we are hosting our first virtual event. Well, I just started a support group for my nonprofit, and I'm so excited. We just had our first session last week. No, week before last, and we're going to have our next one this upcoming Thursday. And my first big national event is a suicide awareness event that's going to be held
very important.
September 18th from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is where I'm going to have a speaker come in, and she's going to talk about her personal journey with suicide, and how her brother experienced that, and her family had to go through that and overcome that. And then toward the end of the session, we will have a yoga and meditation time, so that everybody can kind of get all of the negative and the hard conversation and just kind of relax and reset. So it's all about healing.
That's amazing.
That's what we do. That's what we're here for, to heal.
That's amazing. Actually, like throughout the whole story that you were just talking about, it's amazing how no matter what you was going through, you still found a reason behind your purpose. Like, you know how they say, put your pain and make a purpose out of it, right?
Let your pain birth your purpose. It's the truth.
Exactly.
I live by that.
Exactly.
We talked about earlier off camera how all of your journeys in life are a result of your experiences in life.
Yes.
And I don't ever despise my journeys because it shaped me into the person that I am. My journeys shaped me into the person that I am, and as a result, I feel like I'm a much more stronger individual. We don't break. We don't allow life circumstances to knock us down because we've already been through so much.
Exactly.
And it's interesting, as my fellow Scorpio sister, I feel like we get more tests and trials than most.
That is true. Only a true Scorpio would understand what we're talking about, because the first time, like I said, when we just spoke on the phone, literally like I think it was like a Monday or something.
Yes.
And we were talking as if we've known each other our whole lives, because we follow this lady on YouTube. She's a Scorpio tarot card reader. And it's not that we follow because we want to know our future. She just talks about just general energy, and we resonate with it. And when we spoke to each other, we just know that sometimes you feel so betrayed by just being around somebody who happened to be there in your vulnerable time. You just don't realize, like, why would your only response be betrayal? And that actually somehow, it actually makes you stronger, because you realize, like, thank you God that we're not like that. That's just who you are. And we happen to be on the same path, and you were tested as well. And your only response was to just run away, because then you realize that, I don't want to brag, but I'm going to brag. A Scorpio is actually a very strong person, because we love as deep as the ocean. So we give you unconditional love. We don't say, well, we'll do this for you
if you do this.
Right. There is no conditions. When you love for real, it doesn't have to be on a sexual, or it could be professionally. It could be just because, you know, you happen to be here and I'm also vulnerable, but let me help you as well, because we happen to be in the same boat. So like I said, God tests everybody, and then through all the ordeals, you still come out. And I was like, because at one point I was like, wow, I'm incredible. And I'm not being cocky about it. And I'm so, right? We're incredible, or people like us, because we take the high road in order to learn of the lesson, right? And then you say to God, thank you, because when we ask God to help us get through something, we don't realize what the path is supposed to be. So when we're actually in some type of physical trauma or emotional trauma, or both, or spiritual, you're actually at some point, I was like, oh wait, I asked for it. I asked God to get me out of the situation that I was in, because I wanted to be appreciated and surrounded by the people like Erica, because as I went into my power, God has been sending me the same type of people. And I'm so grateful, because when I talk to Erica, it doesn't matter what race or gender or nationality she's from. I could care less, honestly. You know, she's happy being whoever she is. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, she's a people person. She's the, you know, God's child, and she's here to, you know, serve her purpose, to help people. And this is exactly how my channel was born. And that's how we're here, right? Because we're literally talking about the exact same thing, just in different forms. And that's actually one of the reasons why I contacted you, because a life coach, that's huge, because you actually, I guess you really made your purpose a whole different ballgame, because, right. I mean,
it's amazing. It's just, for me, it's like I heal from knowing that I'm healing, helping someone else to heal. I believe that we were all put on this earth for the sole purpose of really just empowering and pouring into each other. That's the first relationship, if you're not a spiritual person, but the first relationship that was created, God said, it's not good for a man to be alone, let me create a woman. And I don't look at it just for like male, female, or, you know, in a relationship, but it's about relationships with people, or interacting with people, building relationships with people. That's why we're here. It's not about just yourself and what your household is dealing with, and
but
your
you
issues.
Need other people.
You need other people. You need somebody to be there to hold you up and hold your hand when you're feeling weak.
Right?
And,
exactly.
You know, because we all have those moments. We're human. And at the end of the day, no matter how many things I've come through, that doesn't mean that my trials don't make me cry. That doesn't mean that my trials don't sometimes knock the wind out of me.
Exactly. You're just stuck for days. Like, what just happened?
They're like, but you know what? The beauty is we get up.
Right.
And we keep going. And the bigger thing that I wanted to piggyback on what you talked about was we don't let it change who we are.
Exactly.
We don't let our trials and our tribulations cause us to be less of a person or allow that to change our life or our input or aspect in life. Mm-hmm. We want to still see people as people. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to, just because I was in an abusive marriage, going to think that every man is abusive.
Right. Exactly.
Just because I was in a bad situations doesn't mean that everybody's bad. Or just because I've dealt with racism doesn't mean that everybody's racist.
Right.
You know, it's really learning not to let your circumstances change who you are, still uniquely being yourself.
And that's actually not easy, because we could talk about it, but it takes a toll on you. Mm-hmm. A huge toll. Mm-hmm. Actually, at one point, whenever I'll be talking about my situation, I had like a mental breakdown, because it's not easy. People always say, you look like you can handle everything.
We make it look easy.
Yeah, but it's not. That's just because we don't go and cry to the world. My microphone keeps making noise. I think it's okay.
Okay.
So, nope, it's not.
It's okay. I got it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's not easy being strong. It takes a huge person. You have to be you either have to be ready to be on that path, or you really have to be a spiritually strong person, because you truly believe in God. That's what I'm talking about. Don't just talk of God. Oh, I know God. Or you go to the church or synagogue or the mosque. It's just like letting everybody else know, oh yeah, you go there, that's great. But at the end of the day, what is your connection with God? How do you treat other people? It says a lot about you as a person, right? Mm-hmm.
It's the relationship. Mm-hmm. It's the relationship with God. I don't care what your religion is. Mm-hmm. I don't care what your belief system is. I don't care if you're even an atheist. At the end of the day, it's about treating people fairly, treating people the way you would want to be treated. And even sometimes not even the way you want to be treated.
Exactly.
Some people don't know how to treat themselves.
Exactly.
And self-love is actually the first step to learning how to love others. But it's also very important to understand that you can take the lessons in life and the trials in life, but leave the luggage, leave the baggage, leave the things that damaged you. Leave that in the past, and don't make another person have to pay for that, because that's what you've experienced. So in your next relationship, because you see how beautiful she is, you know, he's coming.
It's the makeup.
She's gorgeous. Anyway, he's coming. So when he comes, don't take the baggage from those past experience into your new experience. Let that person make their own bed. Let that person make their own mistakes, and give them a clean slate until they've done something to make that slate not so clean. I live by that. Like, I literally live by that. It's not easy. I mean, we as Scorpios, we're not going to necessarily, I mean, our hearts are very deep, but we're not going to just give it to anybody.
After a while, even though we did give it to anybody, because we're divorced, and happily divorced, okay?
Happily.
Right, but we didn't do a person dirty. Just that we got into this marriage, it didn't work out, and in our mind, it's like, well, okay, it's not working out. Let's go our separate ways properly or peacefully. And there's always something going on, because the other person is not ready to understand that. It's not, he's not ready to move on and go first. But even though you're not happy with me either, I'm not going to say, well, I'm the best. I'm not the best for you. I'm the best for somebody else. So if I have to make a decision physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually that, you know what, wow, it's actually not going to work out, then so should you. Because it wasn't easy for me, because being a Jewish person in our community, everybody's very like tight together, because it's a community. That's what happens. You're actually just basically, everybody says divorces are not allowed. So with that mind, when I finally got what I wanted, I was like, oh my God, that's a miracle, because you got out of it. And the world didn't stop turning, and you're still happy, and you're still learning, and every person that comes into your life or anywhere you work for or whatever the case is, everything helps you grow, because that's the path that you chose to be on. Because when you come into this world, you're an individual. You're going to leave as an individual. So what are you going to leave behind? Even if it's just for your children, what is it going to be? Right,
exactly. And so it's so much to be said about just maintaining your positive aura and your attitude, and just not allowing yourself to become bitter. Bitterness is real. It's a part of the grieving process. And I think sometimes people don't give people room or space to just be human.
And that's the main reason for toxicity.
I'm big on letting you be human.
Exactly.
But you can't stay there.
Right.
You get depressed, you get sad, you get, overwhelmed, you feel frustrated, you feel hopeless, but you can't stay there. So the key is feel what you feel, but don't let your feelings control you.
Right.
Let your feelings be just a thing. That's how you feel that day. Tomorrow you wake up, it's another day. You might feel a little bit better. Right. And then the next day you might feel even a little bit more better. And then you keep going. You just got to keep going. It's a part of our process. So
accept who you are.
Acceptance is a big part of it. And also just, don't beat yourself up. Don't hurt, yourself because you're so self-deprecating where you've pushed yourself down because, I should have never married him, or, I should have never did this thing and did that thing. Guess what? We're human.
And every mistake is a lesson. It's
every
okay.
mistake is a lesson. And it's like, what do you do with the mistake? Do you let it overcome you, or do you take something from it and grow and learn from it? Take the lesson, leave the luggage. As one of my best friends loves to say.
Right.
It's a good quote. I don't know where she got it from, but it's a really good one. Take the lesson, leave the luggage. It doesn't have to overcome you. It doesn't have to define you. Okay, we make mistakes.
Right.
That God knew we would make mistakes when we
we're
first
supposed
got here.
to. And perfection is annoying. Stop trying to be perfect. Women are always picking on themselves. Whatever. We want to be perfect to the best of our ability, but
I'm guilty.
Right. And it's okay because we're women, and we, at a certain age, you're like, oh my God, I want this to be perfect. I want this to be perfect. But I like my mistakes because I don't backstab people. I don't betray. My mistakes are genuine. Like, I didn't know you were going to react like this. Okay, cool.
I apologize.
Right. I do. I usually do. And no, I always do. Sometimes I'm just like, you know what? At this point, apology isn't going to make a difference because I know where I am standing and I know where you're standing. Sometimes it's just not enough. There's two different types of people, givers and takers. We're the givers, you're the takers. And it's never enough. It doesn't matter if you say sorry, if you show you're sorry, if you just like, oh my God, like everybody just expects you to be perfect because you're a mother or because you're a wife or because like society expects. Like, no, I don't want to be perfect. I keep, like, I'm also a twin. Everybody who usually compares us.
I'm a twin too.
We didn't know that. Now I have a twin sister who's like a man. No, I'm joking. Very tough, okay?
We did not know that.
No,
that is hilarious.
Wow, you see how a simple comment on YouTube can take you a long way?
And it's so funny because it's funny. I listened to another tarot reader and she talks about finding your soul tribe.
Yes.
And I just, when you connect with people,
Soul
connect
tribe.
with people. That's soul tribe right here.
Right.
That is so funny.
That is.
I'm sorry, we're taken back by that for a little bit.
Pause. So, anybody else?
Anything else you want to tell me? No,
Right.
but I'm just so grateful for just everything that God is doing. And despite all of the wonderful things that I've accomplished in life, I'm still going through lots of crazy things right now, but I refuse to let that define me. I'm not going to wear it on my face. I'm still going to get up out of the bed. I'm still going to do what I have to do because guess what? People are depending on the words that are coming out of my mouth. They need me. And I'm out here to do what it is that God has called me to do. So I don't allow myself to get drown in my problems, because we all have them.
Right.
Nobody's perfect. Listen, you take all the makeup away and you take all of that other stuff away, we're just regular people at the end of the day.
Exactly. People need to know regular people. It doesn't matter how you look on the outside. You are just you as an individual, and God gave every single one of us a certain kind of, I guess, a trait that we have to share with everybody else. If you keep your richness, like I'm a millionaire when it comes to being spiritual. You know what I mean? Right? I will accomplish everything that I'm going to accomplish because I'm already accomplishing so much. And like you said, all the struggles are still there. It's just that now, because I'm away from the toxic, the marriage that I was part of, it's not like toxic, they're bad people. They're just not for me. So now even if I still have toxicity, I'm in control of it. Like it's like, I'm there, I'm controlling it. So it's a whole different ball game. Now you're just like, okay, another toxic person. I know exactly your vibration.
I've seen you before.
I've seen you, see you. Yeah. I know, so I'm not going to cry and appeal. I'm not going to be shocked at your response because I already know. Like when I help somebody and I have that person, sometimes I will help you on purpose because I want to see how you're going to react. So a person literally would call me back and just be like, oh my God, Marina, thank you so much for doing this. I'm like, oh, that was nothing. And I'm like, oh my God, that felt so nice to hear, because it's not. One time a person said helping somebody is a form of slavery. It's actually not a form of slavery.
Freeing.
It's actually the complete opposite. And when you care for somebody, even with a simple phone call, it shows what a good person you are. But clearly it's not something that's, you know, your vocabulary, because once you take a lot, remember I said takers and givers, when you take everything that you want or was able to, and then when you no longer need anything, you're like always looking for some type of excuses where yeah, whatever,
or handout.
Right. There's,
and you know, I have to say to that point, I find that, and maybe you can, you know, validate this as well. I know for most Scorpios, we are big givers.
Yes.
Whether it's our hearts, our resources, our time, our energy, and we give, and people will suck the life out of you.
They will take it. Yes.
They literally, and I think it's because we are natural healers. We are emotional healers for people. We love very deep. We're not afraid to go deep. We're not afraid to touch the parts of things that most people are afraid of.
Yeah, I love it.
And I love going deep. And a lot of people, they need that. It's like they thrive and crave that. And then after a while, you realize, okay,
they get too comfortable.
They get comfortable. Like, they've taken everything that they can take, and now you're depleted. So one of the things that I have been teaching on the last few things on my YouTube channel has been about the importance of self-care, and always pouring into other people from a full cup. Right. Never taking what's in your cup for them. They get the residual. Right. They get what's left over. Right. Your cup has to be full for you first to survive. Exactly. And then whatever comes, whatever the overflow is, that's what you give into the other
basically
people.
You're welcome if you're in our presence and we happen to help you. Because people always need to understand, we don't have to help you. We didn't have to help you. We chose to help you. And even like sometimes a person was like, I don't want to talk about those type of people, but I helped so much, and the only response was, Marina, you smothered me. And I was like, I was hurt by that a lot. I was actually disrespected. I was degraded as a person, because I'm like, oh, so while, because you said on my other interview, I said, when you're a mother, you have to spend money to go get your nails done. You go out of your way for you. So when I go out of my way for me and for you, for no reason, unconditionally, and that's your response, as hurt as I was glad to hear those words, because I was like, I don't ever have to be near you. I don't ever have to be, because now I'm aware of those vibrations. I don't ever have to give myself to those type of people, because I was tested, and I know I passed the test, because I don't mind helping you, because I know you need the help. Like me, I have older generation. They were just like, come and give me another push. Even with a simple phone call where I still took care of everything, having a phone call and talking to a friend about it, I was so happy that I'm like, I just let it out. And it was like a little guidance. And when you talk to the people that you helped and they talk to you with so much ego and pride, there is no God there. I'm sorry. Don't talk about, because I get so angry and irritated when they start Googling quotes about God, but you treat people like garbage, and the words literally, that person also said, I hate people. You're not supposed to say that, because people need people. You can't grow without another person. You can't sit home and just read books unless you're, I don't know, you want to be like the greatest, I don't even know.
Theologian ever.
Right. Like, books don't talk back. Right. You don't grow from experience that's in the, right. When you get hurt, even I'm like my marriage, I'm happy I was married and it didn't work out, because I was always questioning myself. Is this what I want? Is this something that's going to help me grow spiritually? And no. And when you walk out of it, you're like, yes, you're hurt, but you're like, oh my God, I'm so happy, right? Everything's supposed to teach you to become a better person. And if you're stuck with your ego and pride and this, you know, like helping is a form of slavery, then I don't know. God bless you, because you're going to need a lot of it.
Well, you know, eventually you're going to need help.
Yes.
So whatever you put out is what you're going to get back. So if that's your attitude, when you really need somebody, they're not going to be there, because you put out nothing but
I'm not gonna
energy to push them away, push everybody away. So when you are in a situation or a position where you need help, because we all are going to be there at some point, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, we're all going to need something from someone. We're not an island.
Right.
We are, it's all about community. It's all about relationships. It's all about helping each other to become the best versions of ourselves.
Right.
And if you think it's only about you, then you'll never get to that place where, when you're in a situation that you've already sown those kind of positive seeds to have somebody there for you when you need them.
Right, and all you have to do is say thank you. Like,
right. Or just basic, that's just basic manners.
Right. Like, you read that in the book, I'm sure you did that. Like, come on, and you watch movies, right? And when I'm talking about the you, it's the people like you. It's like, I don't know, sometimes when I meet people and they say I read a lot, I'm like, I'm going to be questioning that, because do you talk to people a lot? Do you communicate with people? Because that's important.
Relationships.
Right. And like
it's the foundation of mankind.
Yeah, communication actually also, because I hate when I cannot communicate. Like when I just spoke to Erica, complete stranger. She could have just been like, I'm good, goodbye. You know, but she opened up on such a level, like I swear, it's like I know her. Like she like the energy is enormous, and it's so positive, and it's amazing when you find, like, it's like, where have you been my whole life?
Exactly.
Right? We have so much in common. Right? We're both happily divorced. We both have children. We're both growing, you know, in our path to help others. And I don't think there's anything better than that, because even if you're creating music, right? Which, right, I want you to just open that side of it as well.
It's coming.
Yes, exactly. And even if you're creating music heals. Doesn't matter if you're a rapper or just a regular, you know, musician, or just sing from the soul. It doesn't matter. Art is art, and anything in life, to me, I guess it's a Scorpio thing maybe, because everything is art. Any relationship is art. When you talk to somebody, sometimes people used to laugh at me. They're like, Marina, you tell everything to people. I'm like, no, I tell everything to people about certain topics that we're talking about that they could relate to, so that when you're opening up to me, I don't want you to feel like you're the only one opening up. I will open up to you too. So I'm letting you know that I understand, and here's something I went through that is similar, so that you can understand that, you know what, we're all human. We all go through something, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. But honestly, who knew I would be doing this type of, you know, show, or just this kind of, that I would be on this path. I always love to help people, but I was like, wait, because I was betrayed so much, I'm like, no, that's just who you are. And that made it so much stronger. And I was like, no, I want to be helping people. Come to my show, talk about what you have overcome. You went through 2 marriages, girl. What is
very young?
Very young.
Might I say, very, very young. But you know, I actually, as a woman now, I'll be 42 this year. I am so grateful for the lessons.
Right.
See, it's all in how you look at it. I learned a lot, and there, like I said, nobody's all good, nobody's all bad. I wasn't perfect, but what I did was I genuinely loved the people I was with. I tried to do everything that I could to help make it work. But I will say, I still want to be married again. I do. I have a lot of love to give. But I'm not going to just give it to anybody.
Now you're not. Exactly.
No, I learned. So those were things that shaped me into the woman that I am. So I don't have any regrets. I'm not ashamed. A lot of people are like, oh my God, that's such a, you know, why would you tell people that? Because I am real. Like, this is, I am a human. And at the end of the day, this is a part of my journey. I'm not afraid of my journey. I'm not ashamed of my journey. I'm proud of my journey. And
it takes guts to just be like, no, I'm happy. This is who I am.
And I love being me. And at the end of the day, if, God forbid, which I don't believe, if God forbid there is not a person out here that is for me, I like me enough to be with me all day. I like me.
There's plenty of things to do.
Right. I can keep traveling the world. Wait till this COVID is gone, and then I can keep traveling, because I love to travel. I love to do things. I love to experience life. I don't have a problem with being me, and I don't have a problem with telling people my journey. And it's your vulnerability that helps people really be able to open up to you.
But you're not also afraid to open up, because I don't see, like my twin sister, I used to always tell her, just open up. Just tell people what you're going through, because she's the type. I'm a very social person. She's like more like an introvert, but she's super funny and she's super cool, and you know. And I'm like, just open up, because people have no idea what you're going through. And this is why I was just so fed up. So just when you're not communicating, I don't like that. You always have to open yourself up, because it's important. And like I said, like my twin sister, she just doesn't, like, she was going through very tough times in her personal life and her marriage as well. She's happily divorced, thank God. And she never talked to anybody. We didn't know that she was going through her own fair share of bullshit. Excuse my language. I'm just gonna say it as is, because I don't know if it's a society thing as well, but when you overcome it and you're vulnerable about it and you're cool about it, like, yes, I went through it. Well, I went through that too.
There's a sense of embarrassment too.
Yeah.
Because when I was going through my marriage, so my first husband was in the military, so I was away from my whole family. We moved to South Carolina originally, then we moved to Atlanta. And all of my family was here. Well, not here, but in Maryland and New York or in DC and all of those areas. So I was by myself. And one of the things that I had always heard from like older women in my family, they would say, oh, well, you keep your marriage stuff to yourself. Like, that's your marriage. Nobody should be in the middle. Nobody should be in the middle. And to an extent, I agree with you not putting outside influences in your marriage. But at the same time, when you're suffering, it doesn't mean you have to always suffer in silence.
But it also depends who you're talking to. Like, if you're talking to everybody, let's say you go to an event and you're like, I hate my husband and he's such a bad person. But that's not what we're talking about.
We're talking about using your family, your people that love you, and maybe not all your family, just one trusted person. Your twin sister could have came to her twin sister. Nobody's going to be closer to you than her. Yeah. You know?
What's wrong with you, woman?
Because we're going to give it to you real, and we're going to tell you the truth. You don't need to tell your mom or your cousins and your auntie, but you do need to tell somebody that you can trust that's going to give you, one, sound advice, and two, that's going to be there to support you through your decision.
But that's the cultural issue, because we were taught as Jewish moms, right, Jewish women, if you're talking about your marriage problems because you're not strong enough to overcome it, because they always love to say that crazy sentence, well, we have it worse. I'm like, it doesn't matter with it. That doesn't negate the fact that mine hurts. Yes, and it doesn't. Don't compare me to a woman that's been in a worse situation. I feel bad for that person. It's like, why would you even compare me to? Oh, Marina, come on. You know, there's men that are worse than your husband. I'm like, well, I don't want them either. And I'm not trying to find me another husband. I'm just trying to get out of this marriage because we're both suffering in it. Right. There's not, you know, because if I'm not happy, chances are you're not happy either. And if I'm, because after like we were living under one roof for 8 years, and after 5 years into marriage, I was like, I'm done. Wow. I just blocked out. I'm like, it doesn't matter what anybody's gonna say. I'm gonna go in my journey.
And it's what you have to do. But not everybody, like I said, like we said before, not everybody has that strength to be able to say, okay, I'm gonna walk away.
It wasn't easy.
Sometimes you feel like you just have to suffer. And people will put and like you said,
repeat that again. No, repeat that, because that's exactly what I was feeling. I'm like,
I'm just gonna suffer, you know. But you know, it's funny because you talk about culture and you talk about your community, and a lot of times people put these restrictions and these rules
because we didn't do that.
Well, you know, just because you chose to continue to stay miserable doesn't mean that I choose to stay miserable. And you just have to be able to walk your own journey and be unapologetically
and it's okay to go into a different
and route. Do something different. You don't have to. I hate that religion and communities and cultures put all of these rules and regulations and restrictions on people and don't let people just find their own path. And and who's to say that your way is right anyway?
Back in the day during war, yes. Back in the day when there was no Wi-Fi, there was no internet, there was nothing, no phones, nothing. You guys didn't see anything, you guys didn't communicate. All you did was come to a nice gathering, birthday or vacation or whatever that was. And that was perfect for you. In today's day and age, when everybody just like opens up, how many women we talk to that have been going through abuse? I just literally genuinely just started talking to this woman at work, and she goes, I was dating a guy who was beating her up, and I can't wait to interview her, but she's super busy. But the same concept, women are being completely degraded, Women are being completely disrespected, devalued,
Mm-hmm.
unappreciated, and then at the end of the day, they have this perfect way of making us feel like this is our fault. And I actually know women in our community who have been going through something similar, and the husband and his family made her feel so bad, she apologized.
Yeah. Oh,
It's like,
I mean,
I
I must
deserve-
not have been cooking enough,
Right.
or I guess I didn't have enough sex with him, so
Right.
that's why he's upset, and he's.
I didn't please him well enough, or whatever.
We're done with that.
Exactly.
You are not a robot, ladies.
Mm-hmm.
You are a living, breathing human being with feelings, with emotions, with ideas, with insight, with wisdom, with knowledge, with skills, with smarts. Nobody.
Embrace who you are, because God made you someone
the way you are.
And the way you are. And our job is to, at this point, we're not trying to disrespect our cultures or communities or religion. We're not. We're just trying to let you know that if you're not happy and you want a different life, go get it. There's nothing wrong with it.
It's
Choose
okay
you.
with choosing you.
Right.
Self-love is first.
Exactly.
And literally any other loving relationship that you have is an extension of the love that you have for yourself.
Yeah.
So when you see a person walk confidently and you see a person walk and secure in who they are, it's because they've learned to love themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody else that loves on them, that's an added bonus.
Exactly.
So nobody, it took me years to get to this place, but nobody can devalue me because I know who I am.
Yes.
And if
you always remember who
exactly.
you are.
And at the end of the day, if you're low vibration, you're not even good enough to be with me.
Right.
Or even in my circle. And that's friendships, relationships, family members, whatever. I've had to cut off family members. I've had to cut off
Those
friends.
are not easy.
I've had to listen. At this stage of at 40, almost 2, I don't care. If you're interrupting my peace, you gotta go.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm protecting myself because at the end of the day, it's not healthy for me. I'm not gonna give you the power to interrupt my peace of mind. Peace of mind is priceless. There's not a price tag you can put on my peace of mind.
Exactly. Money cannot buy peace and happiness.
You cannot put a price tag on my peace of mind. So I say this to say, if I have to be single for the rest of my life, I'll just be single.
Yeah, but you're so happy and content with yourself.
Exactly.
And that's like, if you're more happy being single, then there's something wrong with the whole society, or maybe just like men in general, or it doesn't matter if you want to date whoever you want to date, but just like whoever your significant partner is. Even like when it comes to marriage, even if it's just really, dating or whatever, it's meant to help you grow.
Mm-hmm.
If you're stuck, then I said to myself, okay, well, if this marriage, this partner that I'm with is not helping me grow, like we literally did not have any kind of communication, which destroyed me. For a social person, butterfly that I am, it destroyed me. And I'm like, God, you know exactly what you're doing. You shut my mouth. I was completely ignored. I was everybody's shadow. I'm like, what's going on? I know so much about life, and nobody even bothered to be like, Marina, what do you think? And that's something I said to myself, okay, well, if I'm not growing with you, I'm going to do my best to take this to my advantage, because that's who you're dealing with. I'm making the best out of my horrible circumstances, because I know and I'm aware they could have been worse, and I'm grateful that there weren't. But where I was, I'm grateful and supportive, well, just to the environment, right? Because you make the best of it, and then you just, at the end of the day, you're like, you know what? I will grow to wherever I need to go, to the best of my ability, because I refuse to stay in this toxic, stagnant environment. Because it's not, I said to God, either you take me or you help me get through it, because I don't want to be useless or worthless. That's one of the main reasons why I just said I don't want to be part of this marriage or this cultural BS, because where I come from, my family is so humble and down to earth. And we're giving, and we're all into holistic medicine, and just helping people out. Like, just be a human, for God's sakes. It's not that difficult. And if you don't want to be around people, nobody's holding you. Nobody's telling you, please stay here because we don't know what. No, we know what to do. There's plenty of things. So even if I want to sit there on my couch and watch, binge watch Netflix shows, I will do that. Because that's what makes me happy. And you know what? That's what I do. After my husband left, which I appreciate you, I'm like, I have so many things to watch.
Oh, I've got so many things I want to do. Let's see. What's the first thing? I know that's for me, like literally, my first business that I launched was after a breakup with a guy that I was dating. And this is after my divorces. And we were dating, and it was just I was just not valued in that relationship. And I literally took a day off from work. I said, I need a mental health day.
Oh, wow.
I took a mental health day. I went and had been thinking about starting my own business, and it was my HR consulting business. And I was like, I do all this work for other people. I've been working in HR for a long time, for 14 years. I've been doing this for other people and making other companies rich. Let me put this money and energy into myself. I literally took that day after we broke up, started my business, launched my LLC, built my website in one day.
Wow. See what you
it was motivating. I was motivated. I was like, you know what? All of this energy I'm putting into this relationship that's not going anywhere, let me put it back into me. And that's literally, it's like a switch just flipped for me.
Yeah.
And then after that, that's when, that one was going, then the life coaching thing came about. I took advantage of that. I paid for the course. I took the course.
The opportunity
I got the
just opened
certification, up. Built that website. Then I was like, I really want to do a nonprofit and do something bigger. Right. To handle or to support people that are victims of trauma. So I then launched that one, and I built that website, and I did it. And literally, I have to say, ironically, I just started listening to tarot readings. Not because I'm trying to find my future, but it's literally, I do believe that each sign, there are certain things that we're wired a certain way because of what our signs are.
Yes.
And so another YouTube channel that I listened to, I was able to connect with her. She saw something that I posted about my nonprofit and ended up introducing my support group through her YouTube channel.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
And it's like, how ironic, all of the connections that I've made have been made through YouTube or from tarot specifically.
Tarot, which actually in my community it's not allowed.
It's not mine either.
Right.
As a born and raised a Christian, I'm still a believer. I still believe in the Lord. I'm a lover of God. I'm a born again woman, but at the end of the day, it's not about a religion for me. It's my relationship with God.
Right.
Nobody can ever take my relationship with God away from me. And I don't have to be in a physical church to be able to have a relationship with God. It's my daily thing that I do. I acknowledge him in everything that I do, and he directs everything that I do. And so it took me years to be able to accept that part. But it's funny, like when you say like how your paths and everything that you do, it leads you down this one path. Yeah, your marriage was not what you wanted it to be, but you stepped out and you were like, I want more. I want something better. Let me take this as a motivation to launch this.
It was a huge motivation. I was like,
so look at her now.
I was just like stuck in a cocoon, and you're like, no way.
This is butterfly.
And it's like, I have nothing wrong with, like, I don't mind, like, my community, like, when you go hang out with them, everybody's fun and outgoing. When you hang out with your own people, there's your own jokes, everybody's picking on each other, dancing, everybody's beautiful, everybody's educated, everybody's mature. It's great, but I was like, I want more. There's more to me than just that. I could still have that. I could still go there and have fun and enjoy. And if I want to go to the synagogue, I'll go to the synagogue. Great. But at the end of the day, what do I have to show for what I am? So I was just, I really felt like I'm not embracing my beauty as a like inner beauty, like my passion. There's more to me. And I was like, God, come on, like help me get through this. Like I'm dealing with all these toxic people. I'm stuck in the stagnant energies, and there's so much more to me. And I don't want to be useless, and I want to just help people. Like, because I always do anyway. And I'm like, they call me, or even if I'm like, I see that you're stuck in this, let me just connect you with this person or connect you, which I'm always good with that as well, right? You just have that, like, I don't know, you just know. It's your intuition, right? Yeah. And I'm like, like I said, I don't charge people for that. It's just something I love doing. So when you happen to be in my vibration or in our type of vibrations, and we happen to choose to help you, be appreciative of it. Because at least it's not going to be like, because I really felt like I've wasted years on helping people, because at the end of the day, they just, I mean, I learned a lot about myself. Yeah. Right. I learned, but it hurt, because I could have just been like, I'm going to pay attention to myself. I'm going to learn.
But it's not who you are. And so even if they didn't reciprocate or receive from you properly, you still put that out in the atmosphere. Those seeds were still sown. So God is still going to bless you. And look at what you're doing. Like, we don't know how many people this is going to reach. We don't know. The right people are going to. Exactly. There could be one thing that we say that's going to change somebody's entire situation. Yes. Give somebody the courage that they need to walk away from an abusive relationship, or give somebody the motivation to start their own business, or give somebody the strength to be able to say, you know what, I can get out of this depression. Let me get out of this bed. Let me take a shower. Let me start over. Let me just I don't care. I'm still breathing. Let me just start over. So you never know what that one little thing that you say can do to help somebody else. I'm so honored and so blessed to be here. It's my soul tribe right here.
I know.
But I mean,
we're gonna move mountains.
You just watch. I mean, it's not easy. This road has not been easy, but it's gonna be so worth it.
Oh, I don't want it to be easy though.
Yeah, it's gonna be so worth it. I mean, I've been fighting for a long time. I'm kind of tired, but
right. No, I know. What I mean easy, like
I want to earn it.
Exactly. When you do it yourself, you earn it, and it's okay when you ask somebody for help and they help you, because I'm not gonna just say, well, I did it all to myself. My cousin Maria, my cousin Lilia, my other friend that just came by and like helped me with a girl Russell. No, I want to say their names because I'm so grateful for little phone calls where like, oh my God, like I went to my cousin's house, Maria, right? And I was like, I don't know, I'm not ready. I don't know what to do. She goes, Marina, just do it. She's like, I sat down in her house and I was writing things down, and I became more motivated because I was doing it the entire year. I had this idea for years, but how? I was like, no, let me do this logo. The logo that I came up with, it took me a while. It took me like 3-4 people that I had to pay to just, that's not what I want, that's not what I want. And the slogan, everything is just, everything just kind of comes into place when you realize that this is what you want to do. And I always say, well, I don't always say it, but after working for so many other people, making them rich, literally, you're just like, you know what? If I'm that good helping somebody else, I'm going to be great helping myself.
Exactly.
Right?
And you put that energy into yourself. Nothing wrong with helping people. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with helping companies become great.
Yeah, when you're on that stage, it's fine.
It's fine. But I also want to put that energy into me. I also want to put that energy, that effort into myself and into my things, because we're more than just this one note. There's so many notes, and as a singer, I'm always thinking notes and music. We have so many layers and levels to us and to our callings. So just because I'm an HR director doesn't mean I can't have a nonprofit, doesn't mean I can't have a life coaching business, doesn't mean I can't do all these other things.
And it's amazing how you do so much, right? And you're saying that you also said that you're writing a book? I
am also writing a book. I am really trying to have it finished by end of October. But it talks about my journey through trauma, and it's very, very hard to write because it's triggering. It's triggering. Yes. But one of the things that I learned, and even why I started my nonprofit, was because I realized that there's so much shame that society puts on you talking about certain things.
And they're so easy about it too.
We don't talk about that, or it's so secretive. That's why cycles continue.
Exactly.
God told me that I was going to be the one to break the curses over my family. Nice. So it's a heavy burden to bear. Wow. It's like somebody putting bricks on my shoulders.
And that's not easy because
to weigh you down.
You said curses on the family. We also have it from our other generation, and they also said you're not growing because of the curses in your family. And I feel like I talk about it with other people, and they're like, we also have it. So I think it's because of all the cycles that nobody actually opens up and like, you know what? I think we need to
Nobody takes a stand.
No.
And faces
nobody.
It. You're right.
No.
They don't do it.
And the cycles continue from generation after generation. And then when you start looking to find your true self, you start feeling, and it's like every person you meet, there's like a piece of them in you, and you're like, that's not what I want. That's not who I am. Or I'm grateful for this side of me or whatever. And then finding yourself is not easy. That's the hardest.
It's so hard. But I say that to say, once I finish it, I am so excited to see how many lives are going to be changed.
Oh, 100%.
I'm so excited. I already have a vision of where this book is going. Like God literally gave me a vision. It's personal, so I'm going to keep it in here. But trust and believe it's going to make a worldwide, global impact. And I'm excited about it.
I hope so.
I'm excited about it. But it's not even it's not even because I want to say, I want to check off all these things that I've done on my resume. It's not about that. I literally want to fulfill everything that I believe I was put on this earth.
That you was never able to before.
Yeah, and what I was put on this earth to do. Like, we're not just here to just be a mother, or just be a wife, or just be a accountant, or just whatever it is that you do. There's so much more into you, in you, and you have to tap into those things and not be afraid to go there.
Exactly.
And it's like,
and it's
for
actually
the
very
first
interesting
time,
to go there.
So the first time I am free to explore all of the gifts and all of the things that I feel like have been put on the inside of me, and I love it. Like it's the most freeing thing in the world.
Right.
It's
It
freeing.
really is. It really is. And I never thought I would be in this situation, because when I wanted to get my divorce, everybody said, don't do that. And that's another thing. And then eventually I just blocked everybody out of my life. And that's when I was like,
and you did what you needed to do for you.
I did it. And at some point I was like, oh my God, the world didn't stop turning. I'm still here. And my kids became better. I became a much better mother, because before I just felt like I was just always hunting something, working for somebody else, trying to give my children a better life, but nothing ever worked properly, because I was part of the wrong energies, because I was still broken. So until one person, the most important person in my life, which is my husband, who finally walked away, I was proud of him doing it. I was like, well, finally, because you're not happy here either. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's okay, because in his family is the same concept, especially his family more than mine though. His family was like, no, nobody gets divorced in our families, but well, nobody gets divorced in our families either. Nobody gets married to get a divorce. Everybody gets married to stay married.
You think that that's forever.
And and it's not easy, because when you realize that it's not for you, and it's not like we made a mistake, it's just not for you. And when you accept it, because I felt like a complete failure. I felt like I was just too. Right. You just feel like
what's wrong with? Is something wrong with me?
Right. Because this is it. That's all I have to offer. And I'm like, no. If I brought these incredible children into this world, right, and everyone is an individual and beautiful in their own way, there's way more than me. Because I feel like when you bring children into this world, you've accomplished
an amazing thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Love your babies, and love you wouldn't have been able to bring them here without him.
Of course.
And I'm grateful.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't hold any grudges. I'm not even angry anymore.
Because you're happy in your own energy.
Yeah,
right?
I'm fine. Like I have my beautiful children. Thank you.
Yes.
For that. If for nothing else, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And thank you for the lessons that I learned, so that now I know how broken I was, and what not to do, and what things I needed to learn from that. And now I know what mistakes not to make. I don't want to keep making those same mistakes. So now I'm okay.
Yeah, and my children actually changed a lot too. Like my daughter is 9 now, and when you talk to her, she's very mature. Even my son, like when you talk to, he's 7 years old, he talks, but just like, sometimes you hear him say something and you're like, whoa, I didn't know you were listening. You know?
Wow.
But sometimes when I'm like really upset, my daughter comes to me and she asks me questions, or she literally just comes and explains certain things to me. She goes, Mama, don't do that, because when you open up to the wrong people, those were her words. She said, they take advantage of you. And she was 8 years old when she said it to me, because she noticed it.
She's smart.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I was like, that's why one of the reasons why I didn't want to be married, because we were just so different. Like he could be perfect with somebody else, but not with me. We never clicked. We literally may have the exact same mentality about what we wanted, but not with each other.
That's interesting. That just meant it didn't fit. It just wasn't right. Yeah.
No, we had to get married, I guess. It just, at that time, I think this was just, oh, okay, we'll get married. Cool. I think that's why we even got married. It wasn't like love at first sight. It was just common sense at first sight. We had to get married because we're Jewish, and okay, cool, great. It didn't work out.
Right. And it's okay, but you know what? You've learned, and you've become a better person. And now you know what not to do.
Yeah.
You know what red flags to look for. You know what things you needed to heal, because it's not all them. Like it's literally two people in a relationship.
And not only you have to know him, because as a wife you have to be this perfect nurse. That's the other thing I hate. Stop asking like expecting your women to be perfect. Sometimes,
or your mother.
Right.
They want your mother, somebody to nurture them, rub on them and tell them, oh baby, it's gonna be okay. And nothing wrong with supporting.
Sometimes, yeah, but not 24/7. Like, come on. Because I'm also trying to find myself, right? When a woman gets married, she was most likely not married before, right? The second time you got married, you knew something, what to do, what not to do. You knew some red flags. But because you probably wasn't prepared again, you kind of went within a year, you said. You just like now you have to, you still have to, it takes time to find yourself.
It takes a
It was
long
not
time.
an overnight thing. I was depressed for I was in a dark mental hole for a while. It's not like we're talking about it now. We're like high five each other, like we found ourselves. No, we always gonna continue finding ourselves.
And it's a lifelong process. Lifelong process. I don't feel like you ever arrive. Like I feel like you're always gonna be working on something. You're always gonna be growing. You're always gonna be identifying areas where you need to change, where sometimes your energies were toxic.
Yes.
And they no longer, you realize it didn't serve you well, and then you have to fix it. So like I said, it's two people in a relationship, so it takes two people to make a relationship work. Now, my first marriage, my ex-husband cheated, I can't even tell you how many times.
Wow.
And he was abusive. I could not deal with that. It was not safe for me. It was not healthy for me, physically, mentally, emotionally, or any of that.
That's
and it was one of those things, but there were still things that I tolerated way more than I should have. One of the things that I learned is our marriage started to fall apart after 2 years, but I stayed 5 additional years believing that I could pray my way through and make this man become a better man if I just pray.
Cook more, keep it clean,
if I just pray and I just be the best woman ever, he will change. No. No, but you have to learn that over a course of time. And it's not like we're going to tell you something that's going to help you alleviate all the pressures and stresses of life and ever from making a bad decision, but there's some things that some lessons you should learn, or some paths that you should maybe think about before you decide to go down them.
Yeah, because if you're not ready, don't do it.
Don't do it. And don't let your culture or your community or your religion
or your age
or your age just get married or your clock ticking make you make a decision that you could later on regret. If there's something on the inside of you, in your heart of hearts, in your gut, as we say, that's telling you not to go down that road, then don't go down that road.
Or have like a legal contract or something that's binding. If this happens,
I am a fan of an agreement.
Yes, exactly, because
listen.
There should definitely be one beforehand. Because your life does matter, okay? And it's not even a joke, because I don't want to get into the cultural BS, but at some point when I was talking to the cultural leader in our community, I was like, is this really how it is? Like, I don't want this marriage, and I want to be free. And it just didn't go as easily as I hoped. And I was like, eventually I was like, it's okay then. I don't need anything. I have my life, I'm free, I'm happy, for God's sakes, I am free. And nothing happened. My family talks to me, my friends are still in my life. Everybody's like, Marina, like there was a time when my friends called me like, Marina, you lost your spark. Marina, what happened to you? And I'm like, life happened. I didn't expect it. It just so happened that I accepted what happened, I made the best of it, I learned from it, and I did my best to overcome it, and here I am, right? And so for other women in our situations, or maybe men in our situations, because we don't know how, however way. Yeah, and men are often abused in relationships. Yes, I have witnessed it. I have seen women that will slap their husbands or just be so degrading and verbally abusive, disrespectful. I actually can't stand it. So like if I literally that's even worse.
Hear it, I don't like to see anyone mistreat anybody. I hate to see a woman emasculate a man, and I hate to see a man disrespect and abuse a woman, whether it's verbally, physically, or whatever. So for me, it's like nails on a chalkboard. I'm gonna say something that's just the Scorpio way in me.
Exactly. Like it makes no sense.
Are you crazy?
If you're in this situation, get out. Get out. Yeah. Send us an email. We'll help you get out. Like it doesn't matter. Yes. Like come on. We will help you. Listen. We will help you get out. We'll give you some resources. But it's important to don't be afraid if you have children. Because look, when my husband walked away, it's not like he left me $100,000. I did everything by myself. Same. Right. Same. God, and I said to God, because even my daughter was like, Mom, ask Daddy for help. I said, no. If I'm telling you that I believe in God and God is going to help me get through this, I'm so grateful because this is the pact I had with God. I said to God, either you take me or help me get through this. And when I was finally out of it, I was like, oh, so then that means I'm allowed to be free. I'm allowed to be where I am today. And when my daughter started saying she was scared because, you know, I wasn't, like, the job that I had before wasn't paying for much at all, and working for somebody who's just blasting 24/7. Oh my God, Marina, you're amazing, and you're so great, and we're gonna make so much money together. And meanwhile, I have a college degree, and he's paying me breadcrumbs just because on purpose he would constantly say, "Don't worry, when we close our big deals, you'll make your millions," and you're gonna shove it in everybody's face. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to shove it in nobody's face. I want what's mine because I worked for it.
Because I earned it.
I earned it. And I don't do anything wrong at the company, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm working there. I'm a single mother, and I just want to give the best to my children. So when after you just keep growing and you don't see any, and I was there for 3 years and I was broken, and at some point I'm grateful for that person that was part of my life, part of my journey. But the one thing I cannot forget or forgive is just say it like it is. If you don't want to give me or give somebody that's working for you 7 days a week, no holidays, no vacation, $400 a week, literally, with my college degree, and I was very happy before when I was working. Now that I have my children, I was just used and disrespected. I was manipulated. I was there because I hope that I'm gonna finally receive what is mine, so I could have some, you know, have something to show for it. But nothing ever came my way, and eventually I was like, you know what? Here's the keys to the office.
He breadcrumbed you. That's the new term.
And he made so much money. I was helping directly and indirectly, and I said, you know what? You need it more than I did. When I walked away, I was in the most happiest place, and I cried from happiness that I no longer had to be part of those energies. And he still said, Marina, you're like a daughter to me. Your kids are like my kids. I love them. I'm gonna give you the money that I owe you. Until today, it's been over a year and I haven't seen anything. And I was like, I blocked the person. I'm very happy. And like I said, I cried from happiness because this was the last vibration that was toxic in my life that was holding me back.
Yeah.
Literally holding me back. And I cannot forgive those type of, I'm very calm and collected inside, but I want nothing to do with those people because
you're done.
As a mother, I'm in your office and I'm helping you while you're dealing with a whole bunch of other clients and businesses. I'm helping you with one business here. I'm always directly or indirectly, helping, and you give me breadcrumbs by constantly promising that you're going to give me something. That prevented me from growing. And I was so upset. Providing. Because I go home and I'm like, I still don't have money for my kids.
Right. How are we going to eat? How am I going to pay these?
I mean, rent?
Yeah. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't work to just.
You want to give them more. And my daughter is like, Mom, when are we going to go on vacation? And I keep saying this to the manager, and he still said, don't worry. He keeps talking about how this is just the worst thing you have to do. Don't ever promise something to a person that you know at the end of the day you're just going to use to begin with.
Yeah, and honor your word. It's a character thing.
Yeah, because he also has a wife and children and one day grandchildren. Like, it's not easy. And when you're a single mother and somebody says, I'm gonna help you, you're like, oh wow, thank you.
Yeah, you're grateful.
I'd rather you say, this is all I could do, because he literally came to me one time and said, while I'm working on his clients, and he's working on another business, because I'm doing one thing, he's able to do something else. So he literally came to me and he said, wow, I made so much money. I could literally close a business for 6 months to a year. And I'm like, well, where's my car? And this is one of the major reasons why I'm like, no, there's no way. Because when I started even doing this YouTube channel, and I also actually have another YouTube channel that I only do for children. I create content for music, for children's songs, books, and I wanted to write a book about me, and I actually have the name for it as well. But I don't know. It's just,
she needs to do it. Tell her to do it.
It's a lot. Yeah, but right. So like I'm thinking about it, and I have, every time I'm like going to something or was going to something throughout years, I would always write my notes, and like I have everything on one of my email. So I'm not sure when I'll do it, but I'm probably going to. But I just started concentrating on children's books, and I have like a character I created because of my children, the year that they were born. There's like a horse, and my daughter was born in the year of the water dragon, and my son was born in the year of the horse. So I came up with a character, Pagadon, like Pegasus.
Nice.
So Pagadon is a combination of a dragon and a horse. So
Love it.
Right.
So you need to do it.
Right, I know.
It doesn't have to be today.
Right, little by little.
Start it. Yeah, just start it. You know, if it's in you, do it.
I started. I just was like, you know what? Let me do on the children's first.
Don't let it go. It may be, you might have to put it on the shelf for a little bit, but don't let it go. If it's in you, if it came to you, then it's something you're supposed to do. So don't let your journey end without fulfilling all of the things.
That is true.
I'm literally doing all the things. I don't know how I'm going to have time for the things, but I just step out and do it, and then, you know, God will bless the rest of it.
Right. I feel like eventually, once we're done doing all that, everything's just going to keep flowing. But the whole point is that now, like, even when like my father talks to me, he goes, Marina, you're so much calmer now. And I'm like, yeah, because all the toxic people are out of my life. You know, because when I'm helping somebody, I love helping people. And I never in my life said, I'm going to help you so that you could stay in my life, because I don't need you in my life. I was always honest. But when I'm working with somebody or being with somebody, and all these lies and all this manipulation just like made me realize, and I told my father, that's community. That's our cultural BS, because a woman was always taught to be quiet. We're not supposed to do anything. We're supposed to obey to the man. And I realized my biggest mistake is that I obeyed every man that was in my life, whether it was a friend, a boyfriend, a husband, or a boss. You know, everything was platonic unless I was dating you, right? And that was one of the first steps to come out of this. I had to rewire my thinking. Because when somebody does you dirty, you got, oh my God, they're so lucky they're not in my life. I'm not even going to waste my breath on you.
It's not even worth it.
Not worth it at all. Not worth it, because I could never do this to anybody. So like when I was saying, when I was doing this YouTube channel, the people that are helping me create certain type of content, I don't just take care of them. I don't just pay them, I take care of them. And they're literally writing back, because I have a whole team that helps me with a whole bunch of things. And they're like, wow, I want to work for you. I said, listen, one day I'll hire you. Because I appreciate, not just by words, financially, and I always keep in touch. Some people that have worked with me, the lady that did my logo, she keeps in contact with me, and she's all the way in Pakistan.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I said, she's like, oh my God, I really like you. I'm like, thank you so much. She goes, I really love your content, and there's so many people who have like, we've created so many different things. The whole idea is that I love the fact that you were able to be part of my journey to help me bring it to life.
You helped me get here.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's literally what it, and it's like, oh my God, this life is so beautiful. I swear to God, like
it is.
Come out of your shells.
Don't let
amazing.
anything or anyone hold you back. I don't care what background you're from, what culture you're from, what race you're from, whether you're gay, straight, whatever. Let your true, authentic self come through. Don't let anybody hold you back. Don't let anybody tell you what you can or can't do.
Actually, when they're holding you back, that's one way you know you're the best.
Yeah, well, they see it in you. They see your greatness. People are only intimidated by what they either don't understand or what they're afraid of.
Right.
You only want to hold somebody back because you're intimidated, because either you're afraid or it makes you feel inadequate because you wish you were doing what this person's doing, or you could do the things that this person's doing. I'm not special. You're not any more special. All of us could just step out and do the things, but everybody's not brave enough to do it.
Right.
There's things that God's put on the inside of each and every one of us, and not everybody's willing to do the work to tap into it.
That's because of all the society and all the BS and all the culture. That just everything suppresses you, and I feel like it suppresses you for a reason, because nothing is easy. And sometimes, like you said, like I do want certain things to come to me easier, but I'm earning it. I do not want that person that promised me my money, that I worked for, to come and redeem himself and give it to me. I don't want it anymore, because I'm very happy where I'm at. I'm very successful in my own way. I'm providing for everything myself. Even my father was like, Marina, let me help you. I said, no. God is going to help me get through this, because I have to show my children that I'm able to do it by myself, because, and I'm not even kidding, I was surprised how many things I've accomplished, and like being with my children by myself as a single mother during the pandemic, which was scary, but I was like, no, listen, God is there. God, it's not even.
I have to say, I was just talking to my daughter earlier about it, and I was like, I didn't realize that I was more broke when I was with my husband.
Yes.
Than I was when I was without them.
Exactly. How do you think I'm paying for everything now? I I'm sorry. My husband was always upset that I wasn't bringing the money. I'm like, well, when you respect your wife, you'll get it. Because everything is you're expecting, but I'm always going to work with my children. It's a joke. Of course, I'm going to be staying with the guy who's going to promise me the world and only pay me $400 or $500 a week and basically feed me lies. And I'm like, no, because remember, one of my the slogan on my logo, it says every stage has a blessing. In every stage there's a blessing. People really have to understand that even though I'm really upset, or I was upset at one point that I worked there for 3 years and made no money, I've been married to a husband and everything was blocked. Everything financially, my spirit, my everything was just like, where is everything? It was very heavy, it was very depressing. It's like, I'm not me anymore. And I said to myself, okay, then there's a reason why it's there, because I realized that the people, I wasn't supposed to become rich or in any way stable with my husband, because I had to find myself. First, I had to overcome what I don't like, realize what I don't want, become a stronger person. So that stage was the blessing, right? Then when I was working for this person who promised me the world, the stage was that he was tested too, but I guess he wasn't blessed to be the one that I would literally be thinking right now, that thanks to you, I have a lot more, right? Because I'm gonna do it myself. I will accomplish it because I'm in the process of, because I have another partner that's my business partner. We have so many projects that are almost there yet, and they're actually gonna get there. And I'm like, I know when they're coming. I know they're not coming yet, because I am where I am today for a reason. And you understand the concept, right? Because
I do, yeah.
You did not earn and deserve to be the person to help me become financially stable, because God was showing me, Marina, you keep working for all these people. They're all using you. They're all making you so much, you're making them so much money. And at the end of the day, why don't you use your gifts for you? And when I said,
I had the same epiphany.
Exactly.
Literally. It's like the light bulb just went off, and it was like,
wait a minute.
You put all of this time, this energy, this effort, and I'll be the first to say, like I said before, it's not that it's a bad thing to work for other people, but there is nothing more fulfilling than knowing that you're putting all this effort and all this energy into yourself, and it's bringing about not just money, but opportunities and healing and help for other people and grow for people. Like, there's nothing more fulfilling than that.
And I wish people understood that.
Nothing more fulfilling.
There is really nothing there, because I'm not doing this to become this millionaire or whatever. I'm already a millionaire in my heart. And everything
so
I have
that's why
is
you'll
enough.
physically be a millionaire.
Right.
It's just, I'm just waiting on the money to catch up.
Right.
But that's not why I do it. I did not start a nonprofit to get millions of dollars in funding. I would love millions of dollars in funding, and it's gonna come.
Because the money will be
will be going to the people.
Right. Exactly. That's
to
literally
fund the process of what we're doing to help people
continue growing our
network.
The word? Not just the network. It's there's another word for it. It's like our, I don't know. It's gonna come back.
We'll get there.
Yeah, dynasty.
Yes,
that's the word.
Yes,
it's a dynasty because I will hire. I have so many people that even like when my babysitter comes or my cleaning lady comes, I give her extra money, and I'm like, one day when I'm gonna be exactly where I need to be, I will hire everybody and I will take care of you in the way that you have never been taken care of, because I want people, we want people to feel like, you know, when you're working and you're still stressed, that's how I felt at that company. I was always, I would literally come out of the office and just cry, or run to the bathroom and just cry, go to drive to work and cry, because I was always broke, and I was always like, there's more to me than this, because every time my boss like, oh, thank God you're here, because, you know, people want to look at you, blah, 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 but I'm like, okay, but I'm not compensated. I felt so degraded as a person. I felt bad for my children.
And used.
You
literally used me for all of the gifts and strengths and talents and things that I contribute
and
to.
I put up with a lot of verbal abuse.
You put all of that out, and you do all of those things, and then what do you have to show for it?
Yeah, and I realized I'm really strong, and I'm so incredible to put up with. Like, he would literally come into the office and just scream.
Oh yeah,
like complain.
I've had several of those.
Right, and like at the same time, he was super cool, and I was so grateful for him. But I'm like, If I have nothing to show for it, I'm sorry. People like you ain't shit. I'm just gonna be straight up. You ain't shit. You just talk. People
all
that
talk,
work,
no action, just all talk.
Literally, and I'm like, if there's action, but if it's only for you, then why are you
nothing
me?
for me? Yeah,
right.
You're being selfish.
Beyond selfish. It's just greedy, and it's really scary because greed is the number one character trait in a person that proves you have no God in you. You're just money hungry, and it's okay if you close 10,000 businesses while I was there or after I left. It doesn't matter because I'm not afraid to live in the apartment because I have roof over my head and I feel safe over here. And you could have 10 houses and keep closing your businesses and become a million. It doesn't matter because
it's never going to be blessed because it's not in the right heart.
No.
So yes, you make the money, but
keep it.
Yeah,
I don't want it.
What's gonna happen? Like, is it gonna ultimately be successful? Are you happy internally?
Yeah, because I wanted to celebrate that. Wow, we did it.
Yeah, we did it. We arrived.
Right.
So when our businesses grow and they branch out into these amazing things, which we know it's coming.
It definitely is.
It's definitely coming. You cannot put in this much work and not see results. Impossible. So
especially this kind of work.
Because this is not even for us.
It's not even exactly. It's not.
This is for people.
Right.
And genuinely from the right heart.
Exactly.
And the right passion. It's not because we want to do it to say, "Ooh, look at me."
Right. It's not. I'm not doing it to shove it in nobody's face.
No, I literally love to be able to say that I'm helping somebody heal and helping somebody's life to get better and giving them a way. Like that to me within itself is a reward.
It really is.
It really is. It's no feeling like it. I mean, unless you do it, people won't understand what we're saying.
No.
Unless you actually do it,
All entrepreneurs came from some type of place, broken dream, broken something, right? And when you overcome it, you're like, because when you're working for somebody else, they're entrepreneurs too, so they went through something. So when you talk to somebody who understands where you're coming from, but there's nothing coming your way, it's very hurtful that this is our humanity level, that this is what you put out into the world. Because come on, like,
and there are oftentimes a lot of times they're afraid that if you have your own business, say you work for Joe Blow company and you have your own business, they're like, oh, well, what are you gonna do when you get so busy? Are you gonna leave us? I mean, eventually you stopped working for somebody and started your own thing.
Right.
Why is it such a bad thing for me to do that? Like,
how dare you think for yourself?
My goals should never be to be your employee forever.
Right.
That should never be my goal.
Unless that is your goal.
Unless that is your goal. But for me,
it's not.
That's not how I'm wired. There's more to do. Like, this is a job that I went to school for. Yes, I went to college to do this, and I've learned it, and I've become skilled in this. But this is not my sole purpose in life, is to work for somebody else. Yeah. It's just not.
It's not. No, there's so
many things in me. And it's not to say that I won't do it, because I actually enjoy what I do. But at the same time, there's so much more in me that's so much bigger than just making you rich and helping your company succeed. There are things that I want to do. I have dreams and I have goals, and I'm not going to apologize for it.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Not really. But
sorry, not sorry.
This is amazing.
I know. I can't wait.
This is my sister here, so now my Jewish sister.
I know, my Christian sister. Yeah. To God, there's only one God, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Who cares about all that? It's just a ploy to separate and cause division, and we're not about that. We're about unity and bringing people together and bringing people together in love.
Yes, love and humanity is our religion. Okay,
exactly.
You came here as a Christian. I came here as a Jew. We should come together as what we're doing now and teach each other something, because I don't mind learning things about her culture and community or whatever it is, right? Everything, because at the end of the day, she's a woman just like me. She's an individual. She has children just like me. We're both trying to inspire people and help them grow, because there was a time when we needed that, and we had our, I guess, in little inspirations to be where we are today. And look, if you're out there and you want to be you want to show yourself and you want to open up, just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody hold you back. Don't let fear hold you back. Don't let yourself hold you back.
Exactly.
Just step out and do it, because there is something. You have a story. You have something to say. You have something that you can do that helps society.
Exactly.
And just step out. Just do it. It's nothing to it but to do it, right?
Exactly. We're probably going to do like a part B of couple of, I don't know, maybe a year from now, and just be like, hey, remember us?
Yeah, now look at where we are. Because you are, I just feel, I don't know about you, but I just feel like we are like on the brink of something so major.
Yes.
It's going to blow our minds. So I'm in full, like, it's kind of like, you know, the runner that's like on your mark. I'm right there, like I'm ready. So
God
hit
just
the gun,
has to
so I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I'm already in position, because I can just feel it in my spirit that there's going to be so many lives that are going to change from the things that we're doing. And I appreciate you.
And I appreciate
Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for coming.
Scorpio twin. How ironic is that? Right? Don't tell me we have the same birthday. I'm really going to just lose it. When's your birthday?
October 3rd.
Oh, you're only 2 days after me though. I'm the 28th.
So end of October.
End of October.
You see how? Wow, this is amazing.
This is what it's like to meet your soul tribe right here. This is not
right. So that's what it means.
We tried to do, or this was God inspired. This was meant to be.
I mean, you drove from Maryland. Literally, you're like, I'm coming. I'm like, because I was gonna do a Zoom, and she's like, no, I'm coming. And that's amazing. Just to let you know that when I started doing this, I had no idea where I'm gonna be, right? I had no idea who I was gonna meet. But now it's like little by little, you're like, wow, you're meeting. There are so many people out there who are just beautiful, who are amazing. And when you meet them and you get to talk to them, that's like, okay, we're on the right path. Because at one point, I really felt like this is it.
Oh, yeah.
All these toxic people, like, this is it.
This is all that I have.
Right.
But then it's like, when you meet that person, it's like you've known them forever.
Exactly.
And it's like you're intertwined and connected spiritually. It's deeper than the physical. Your spirits connect because your spirits have the same path. Like, we are literally doing very similar things and didn't even know it. And we're at the end of October and we're twins. That's crazy. I'm still blown away. I'm sorry.
I know, right?
But it's amazing. I can't wait to see where you go and what you do. I'm excited.
And same here, likewise.
Yeah, I'm excited. Lots of great things on the horizon.
Yeah, we're coming.
Yeah, so you guys pay attention now, because
when
you see us next time, we'll be upgraded. She'll be in Chanel and I'll be in Gucci.
Our versions of it. I know.
Our versions.
Exactly.
No, I'm just joking, but it's not about that. But it's really about just, being
you love
able
what
to
you
arrive into the place where you're trying to get to is nothing more fulfilling. But
I never thought I would be here, honestly, ever, because I was like, nah, this is not happening. But I really hope that every single person who's in a similar situation, it's rewarding, it's beautiful. Don't be afraid, because when I stepped out of this toxic jungle, I was like, oh my God, now I'm breathing. You breathe differently. Yes.
There is sunlight.
Yes, you
enjoy
rainbows. Everything.
Yeah, it's like you see life through a whole different lens now, because you couldn't see because your mind and your vision was clouded by toxicity. So all you could see was what was around you. The pain, the hurt, the rejection, the fear, the bad vibes, the bad energy, the negativity. And then when you get out of it, it's like, oh my God, that was so cloudy, that was so dark, that was full of storms. Oh my God, there's sun right there.
But you know how strong you are? The fact that we were living in it, and then we just like, that's not what we want. And God was like, okay, because I know somebody once told me, a very spiritual lady, she said, when you really want something and you're really going for it, when God sees that that's what you want, He's gonna help you get through it. And only God will. And everybody else, they're gonna be like a moth to a flame. They are gonna come and try to like stop you and make you feel bad, and that's how you know you're on the right path.
100%. It's like one of those things where you just, your vision is clear, and you get to see, and then God just steps in and he clears all that junk out of the way. It's kind of like going through the woods, and there's a path somewhere, but it's so much trees and bushes and debris, and it's like God's just slowly clearing as you're walking. You keep walking, and he's clearing all that stuff out of your path.
Yeah, because when you're on the right path, God does that.
And you may not see it. You may not even see the path clearly. But as you keep moving, as you keep pushing, as you keep going forward, it's like the path gets clearer and clearer and clearer. And it's like, for the first time in my life, I now know why I was born.
Exactly.
I was born to do this.
Exactly. And there's no doubt in my mind.
No doubt.
This is
I'm completely convinced.
Right. And
yeah.
It's rewarding, guys. I love it.
It's amazing.
It is. So thank you for listening. Thanks for being part of our journey. I hope that we can change lives, and we'll continue to do that. Even if it's one person, I know it's going to help a lot, because I know everybody is going through something. There's no such thing that there's no one that's going through, everybody's having a perfect life. Just be grateful. Be grateful for what you have. Whatever it is, there's a lesson in it. Every stage has a blessing. Like one person that I was working with, he was complaining all the time that he's not making his millions at this stage. It wasn't the stage where you were supposed to make your millions. It was a stepping stone. People have to acknowledge it. Just like the job that I was working on at that time, it was a stepping stone. I wasn't mentally prepared to move forward, but I was just overcoming my cultural and internal issues. And when I finally was ready to accept that I'm not making anything here, I'm just nothing but, I feel like a failure, there's more to me, and these people are not going to help me, they're just pretending. When you say that to yourself, when you make that choice and decision, that you admit it, because you're always in denial, you admit it's not working for you, that's your first step. And then you'll start to see things start to unfold more as you keep stepping forward. Yeah, and it doesn't mean it's going to be like no more toxic people. No, oh, believe me, they're there. Take the step. Just say it to yourself at a time. Yeah, because God will test you. God is never going to stop testing, because I know the problem always comes until you're ready to face it. So until you're facing it, it's just, I don't know, keep going, make the best of it, live your life, enjoy it. God's not going to walk away. We're the true story. We're like warriors. Like, look, when you listen to our story, and I hope that you will, in, I guess, bits and pieces, right? But I am hoping that at least one thing that we said will change your mind and help you move forward. Whatever it is, don't stop. Because if your mind is to help people for the benefit of people, of course, don't forget about yourself. It's gonna grow and prosper. But if your mind is to backstab people and to use people, God will give you, like I think Jay-Z said, ego cometh before the fall. Right? You're gonna have whatever you want, but when the right moment, you're gonna be like, oh, look at me, I did this, and blah, blah. And you're gonna fall right back where you started. And then you're gonna think twice and make the right choices. Make it about people, not about you. Make it about people. Make it all, it's always something that we're meant to do to help others. Everything we go through in life, it's always something we're supposed to learn from it so we can help somebody else. Yeah, look what happened to Jesus, for God's sakes. Yeah. He gave his whole life to people, and look where, like, come on. That should say something, right? So, thank you for being here. You're welcome. Thank you. We're not done.